morning and welcome to the NBA Daily presented by Amazon Prime for January 30th, 2026. I'm Dave DuFour here with Es Baraheni. Coming up, a crazy night in the NBA. The Wolves pick up a big win over the Thunder. We're going to hit that. And then we go super deep with Eric Nehm on Giannis, his time covering Giannis in Milwaukee, and potential trade destination. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Es? How's it going?
Man, I'm doing well. Look, I know we love to do a little bit of small talk. We don't got time for that right now.
We have no time because we legitimately have 27 minutes of Eric Nehm on the other side of the break because I love Eric so much.
Yeah.
And we just went really hard on just his time covering.
Look at it.
And his time covering Giannis. I mean, this might be the last time that he and I get to talk about potentially Giannis leaving the Bucks.
How many times have you said this might be the last time?
Honestly, we've done this for 8 years now together here at The Athletic. It's kind of amazing. A little bit bittersweet, but it was fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed that after the break. But ludicrous display by the Minnesota Timberwolves last night.
Display. Yeah,
in the big win over the Thunder. Look, it feels like the Wolves kind of own this matchup right now. 123-111, they get to win. The score doesn't actually indicate how far apart this game felt. The Wolves just dominated from the start. They felt more physical. They felt more engaged. I mean, it's rare that you watch a Thunder game and you feel like, wow, is everyone healthy? Is there like a flu going around this team? They really just were not lackadaisical, but they lacked the usual energy that they have.
Yeah, and look, I keep saying this every time we talk about the Thunder recently. Injuries matter for this team, right?
Sure.
They don't just get to chalk it up because they're one of the most deep rosters in the NBA. Like missing AJ Mitchell, losing Jalen Williams right now, all of that really hurts their bottom line. So I don't want to take anything away from that. But I will say it again. There's a math problem in the NBA.
And a bunch of teams just are not getting up enough threes, and the Thunder are one of them. Man, look, last year they win this title, and a lot of their offense comes off turnovers. And we saw that sustainability be questioned during their playoff run, especially in the finals against the Pacers, who did such a good job of cutting that off. But the same problems were here last year, the lack of shooting. Like, who's the big threat from outside? It's Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins is about it.
Yeah. And look, Shea's gotten better as a three-point shooter, especially as a pull-up three-point shooter, but Lou Dort is inconsistent on that end. Chet can kind of be hot and cold in moments too. And even just pure volume is an issue for this team. They took 31 threes tonight. Minnesota took 47 threes. Minnesota made twice as many threes as OKC made tonight. It's just a volume issue as much as it is actually knocking down your shots. And if you've been listening this entire week, we've brought this up when it comes to the Rockets. We've brought this up when it comes to the Raptors. It applies to the Magic. It applies to the Pistons. There are a lot of really good teams right now dealing with a three-point volume issue. OKC isn't immune to that either.
Yeah. I mean, it's a make or miss league, but you have to take them to make them. And at some point, that does become a big problem. And by the way, tip the cap to the Timberwolves because, again, they showed up big time. That defense is so real.
I would love for them to keep the black jerseys forever, always. Just the Timberwolves, I
don't know, man. I kind of like the blue ones. The icy ones aren't too bad. I don't know.
The Prince versions of the jerseys are cool. I agree.
They have great colors. They got a lot working for them up there in Minneapolis. All right, we got what was the best stat line of the night outside of Minnesota and Oklahoma City? Man, we had so many crazy games. Let's start at the beginning. The Sixers win 113-111 over the Kings. Now, they should not have had this close of a game against the Kings, especially when you go and look at the box score and you're like, hold on. Joel Embiid had 37 points and they needed a game winner from Tyrese Maxey to put away the Kings. Tyrese Maxey had 40 points. The Sixers get the win, but I don't know. I'm sketchy on this one.
Sure. I mean, you could argue it that way. I'll argue it the other way. I think it's impressive that Joel Embiid is stacking together multiple 30-plus point games. This is now his fifth game in 6 times, I guess, that he's had 30-plus points. 5 out of 6. I don't know why I described that so poorly. But anyways, 5 out of his 6 games, 30-plus points for Joel Embiid. Also, the minutes are up. He played 35 minutes tonight. I think that's the big win there. And also on the game winner, it was an action between Joel and Maxey, a little pitch back action, like we've seen those two dominate all season like that.
I mean, this is why we're high on them for the playoffs.
Yeah, sneaky team. Yeah.
Okay, the most unlikely 40-point game. Let's go to Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks had 40 points in a blowout win over the Detroit Pistons for the Phoenix Suns. I mean, look, I don't know what's more surprising, that the Suns blew out the Pistons without Devin Booker or Dillon Brooks going for 40. I don't know. Both are equally shocking.
This is a fully healthy Pistons team too. Like they weren't missing anybody here.
But the Suns are good. And like we keep saying, like they would be the 2 seed maybe in the East. And you're gonna get punched, especially on the road sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock the Pistons for, losing to a pretty decent team. But I don't know how you give up 40 to Dillon Brooks.
Well, no, look, if you remember Memphis Dillon Brooks, he was liable to go off every now and then if he wanted to. And when his number is called, especially when Devin Booker isn't in the lineup, I mean, he took 22 shots tonight. And the shots fall sometimes for you if you're Dillon Brooks. I will say this kind of adds to our point about how important he is to this team and now this franchise, elevating them to a top
Dillon
6, 7 seed.
He's been important to every team he's been on.
Yeah, and if you want to win, get Dillon Brooks on your team.
That's right. The Suns just absolutely cannot trade him, but teams should maybe be trying to trade for Dillon Brooks if they can. And okay, we had a battle between two fun young teams, but our Hornets pulled it off. Hornets are now 21-28 on the season. Are they going to make it to 500, man? Like they're on this roll. This offense is kind of coming around. They've got, they still play in the East, which means they play a lot of soft teams.
Yeah.
And like when you look at this lineup that they're rolling out there with Miles Bridges, Moussa Diabate, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and Con Knueppel, they are just rolling. Con Knueppel had a career high, obviously he's a rookie, 34 points, 8 of 12 from 3. And he completely, this win kind of outshines Cooper Flagg putting up a 49-point game.
I don't know if it could outshine a 49-point game.
I think it does. Listen, you got to get the win. Con Knueppel hits the game-winning free throws, drawing the foul on the layup
from the Cooper Flagg turnover too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look, I agree, but can I just off the 49 points that Cooper Flagg had, which by the way, he tied the game right before the turnover that we talked about with a pull-up 3. He's been really, really great in the clutch. It's just that turnover doesn't really help our case here. Just a quick stat for you. Teenagers with multiple 40-point games. It is LeBron James with 3, Anthony Edwards with 2, and now Cooper Flagg joins that illustrious list with 2 40-point games. We saw it against the Jazz.
49 is the most by any teenager ever in NBA history.
Wow. I mean, look, if you don't know that Cooper Flagg is all-time, like franchise level, generational, if you want to call it, whatever, he's definitely making a case for himself.
Absolutely. Where would he go in this year's draft if he didn't reclassify and go a year early?
I've seen people say like 4 or 5, but I fail to believe that. I don't.
Not after watching him. I'm higher on him than what I was from hearing the buzz about him on the way in. I mean, this guy to play at this level as a rookie. I mean, Con Knueppel, you can kind of say the same thing. But with Coop, obviously, it's a little bit of a harder job, I would say. Just the role that he's playing on that team. Yeah, guy's been impressive. Con Knueppel gets the win.
I agree. Con gets the win. Hornets playing much better basketball right now, and they will make the play-in. To the Cooper point, though, I think his role on this team, if we're doing the whole rookie of the year debate here, his role is much more difficult than what Con Knueppel is working with right now.
Absolutely. Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, they attract a lot of attention.
Yep.
Makes your life a little bit easier. But anyway, all right, guys, making our life easier. Eric Nehm after the break. Well, it's that time of year again. We are trading Giannis to somewhere that's not Milwaukee. Here to do it with us, our guy, Eric Nehm. Eric, we've been doing this since we got to the Athletic together. 2018 for you. I came in 2019, and probably the first podcast we ever did together, it was, where's Giannis going this summer?
Yeah. It's been a long time of trade rumors, and does he want to stay? Does he want to commit to the future? All of those things. Yeah, like you said, I mean, I've been back in Milwaukee covering the Bucks since 2015. Been at the Athletic since 2018, and as I was just telling you guys off air, like after my first season on the beat, the Milwaukee Bucks go to the Eastern Conference Finals, lose to the Toronto Raptors, and we end that season with a story from Malika Andrews at ESPN about Giannis considering his future and where he wants to be and whether or not that is Milwaukee and what he wants to do. So that was 8 years ago, and we're still doing it, but we will see where this one goes.
Man, it feels like it was only yesterday that you were asking Giannis if this season was a failure or not, and that ended up being a whole thing on itself too. Yeah. And it's just, it's kind of crazy to recollect all of the moments that have happened throughout this journey. I'm assuming for yourself, and obviously for everybody who's covered the Bucks over the last decade or so. When you think of how close we've gotten to Giannis potentially getting moved, if you want to call it the doomsday clock or whatever, this is the closest we've ever gotten, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm trying to think back over the years. Most of the time it's always been about whether or not he'll sign an extension, right? And we're not to that point yet, as I'm sure all of our listeners have read or heard. Giannis is eligible for his next extension on October 1st. Yeah. So we'll see what team he's playing on, who he's thinking about signing it, how many years he's thinking about signing it for when that comes around. But most of the time it's whether or not he's going to sign that. It's not, are the Bucks going to trade him? Because in the past, the Bucks just don't listen. Like if you call about Giannis, we don't really care.
Right.
Like, great. Thanks for calling. Whatever your offer is, multiply it by infinity. I don't even know. Like whatever you got, make it even bigger, and we're still going to say no. So just know that is where like the baseline is in any Giannis trade, but we're not even going to talk about it. So no, and this time it's different because the Bucks have gotten to a spot where this is really the first year. Man, this is the first year Giannis has struggled in this way, or the Bucks have struggled with Giannis on the team in this way since 15-16, if I remember correctly. I think that's the last time they missed the playoffs. Yeah. So it's been 10 years since we've been through something like this. And because of that, because of, first round exits year over year here, not being able to get out. And there are reasons for those. There's a lot of injuries, both to Giannis and to the other stars on the team since they won that championship in 2021. But to me, I think 2020 is the one that might stick out to me the most about. I really did think we were on the edge there of whether or not he wanted to sign a Supermax extension and stay in Milwaukee and kind of re-up because they hadn't won a championship yet. Right. Like that was the year before they win a championship. And, it's the middle of COVID and it's kind of everything. It's just a lot of stuff that isn't going the way that everyone in the world was hoping it was going to go. And then Giannis signed and they win a championship the next year. And it's kind of crazy. I think one thing I always try to emphasize in these conversations is I don't really want to hear any comparisons to Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett. Pick whoever you want about who's asking for a trade or who deserves to be traded because they haven't won anything, because Giannis has a championship ring.
Yeah,
right.
He's held the Larry O'Brien trophy. I've seen it. He's held the Bill Russell MVP trophy. He's done those things. And that I think is always where things can get a little sideways when we're talking about Giannis, because it's not that he hasn't won one yet. It's that he wants more, that he wants to keep adding to his legacy to be in the conversation with all-time greats. I think that's a conversation he's going in no matter what. He was already on the top 75 team. I think in our athletic rankings of the 75 greatest players of all time, I think we had him at 22. I would guess he'd be even higher than that at this point if we would do those rankings again today.
For sure.
And yeah, he is an all-timer. Like that,
right.
Through 13 seasons, he has done enough. His resume says he is an all-timer. And now it's just, how do you fill out the rest of that resume?
Well, that's to me why I think that if you're the Bucks, the excuse is like why you haven't traded him yet or whatever is because, like, how do you let this guy go? And if they don't trade him right now and they're holding out just for a better package or maybe holding out to reconcile, I mean, is this a relationship issue or is it purely competitive basketball issue? Like, could they possibly drag this out to the summer, sell him on some changes, and Giannis is there to start the season next year?
I mean, it seems unlikely at this point. It just has. This was a really rough season. And I do feel bad for Giannis because as the best player, you always have to answer for the team's struggles. Like, that's a part of being a player or being a superstar player. And when they weren't winning games and when they were struggling, he was the one that had to answer the post-game questions. And sure, we talked to a guy like Ryan Rollins or Miles Turner or Kyle Kuzma or Bobby Portis, but like that isn't the same. It's Giannis. And there was just so many moments this year where you could tell like he just hasn't had to play with young point guards. He hasn't had to play with a bunch of young guys. He hasn't had to have a roster that, there were times when they had injuries and that occurred, but like for the most part, he's never had to play with like an undermanned team, a team that doesn't match up as well, as they should. And I think it was a lot, especially in, year 13 as he was struggling with injuries as well. I think I think we're at 16 games that he'll have missed by the time he's done with this current calf strain. I think he'll probably have missed half the team's games, like whenever it is that he comes back. Like, that's really hard. The whole thing this year was this an undermanned team built around Giannis. Giannis is going to go for his third MVP. He's going to try to win the Jokic MVP where Jamal Murray was out and Aaron Gordon was out and all these guys were out, and Jokic dragged them to whatever it was, the 6th seed or whatever it was that year.
Yeah.
That was the plan. That was the plan to get through this season because of Damian Lillard's Achilles injury. And it just didn't work out. Giannis wasn't able to stay healthy and they've just struggled in a way that put him in a really difficult spot. And why I say it's unlikely instead of impossible is with the current lottery rules and the current lottery odds, you don't really know how high a team can jump up. You don't totally understand exactly how this could all go. And this is a year where the Bucks don't have a whole lot of picks, but this year they are in a pick swap and they have a first-round pick. And they're very lucky because the team that they're swapping with is the New Orleans Pelicans. And the New Orleans Pelicans are currently second in the lottery
Sadder
odds.
than the Bucks.
If in some world all of a sudden the Bucks jump up to number 1, all of a sudden the Hawks are going to take that pick from the Pelicans because the Pelicans traded away last offseason, and then the Bucks are going to have the number 2 pick or the number 3 pick or whatever it might be. And all of a sudden you're in this world where you now have the Bucks, if they get to this offseason without trading Giannis, they would have 3 first-round picks, including a top 5 pick. And I understand that people are screaming from the outside, John Horst, please stop mortgaging your future. How many more mortgages can you take? It's like, how is this possible? How many loans do you have out? You got to stop at some point. But I think to your point, Dave, one of the endearing qualities of this Bucks team is that there is no doubt whether or not it worked. And to be clear, it's not working this year. It didn't end up working with Damian Lillard. They've had a bunch of injuries. They couldn't find the chemistry, all those things. It didn't work. You can't argue that they didn't do everything in their power to keep this guy happy and to keep him in contention. And I know it didn't work in those 7 years, but for 7 straight years, the Milwaukee Bucks were in the title contending conversation. in this modern era with the new CBA and how hard that is to do it 7 years consecutively is damn near unheard of.
For however it worked out, the Damian Lillard trade was, it felt impossible to pull off.
Well, it was also like sound reasoning when it happened.
Right.
Every single person, including us, probably was like, well, this is now a championship contender, right? And I think ultimately, you think about the way that they were able to stay creative, right? Even the Miles Turner situation, despite it being, like you said, like refinancing a house consistently, it was very creative to pull that off. That was something that just didn't seem possible to most people, and yet they found ways to do it. To your point about whether it happens at the deadline or whether they end up pushing this to the summer, what do you think is the possibility there? What's the likelihood of him getting traded in the next week or so versus him getting traded in the summer?
So I struggle in these situations because I have a very logical mind. I'm a logical thinker. Logic dictates that you are going to get less for a player in season under the current salary cap constrictions.
Yeah.
In the modern CBA era, everyone is up against an apron, a tax, whatever. So this team can't take on this money. You're in the middle of the season, so you have to have 15 players on every roster. I would say some of the teams that are interested, you kind of go through that list. Two of them that are very interested are the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. And they don't have picks. They just don't have first round picks. And it's kind of incredible to me. It's honestly a little staggering. Like, these two teams have been, quote unquote, linked to Giannis forever. They've been planning, they've been monitoring, they've been doing everything in their power to be in position for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No, except for preparing.
And they're not in position for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, how did you fail? I've listened for years about all the Heat. They're thinking about, they want Giannis. Well, why wouldn't you put a plan together to get him? Why don't you have a plan? Why can other teams beat everything that you can offer? Yeah. The New York Knicks, speaking of mortgages, they don't have any picks. They have no first rounders. How, in a world where you've been planning, monitoring, thinking, hoping for Giannis Antetokounmpo, do you not have a pathway to have the best package for Giannis Antetokounmpo? It truly blows my mind. And that's where I'm saying, like, from a logic standpoint, it seems illogical to me that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be able to get the best package possible for Giannis Antetokounmpo in the next week. But these are pressure-packed situations. These are situations the Milwaukee Bucks haven't been in before. These are situations other teams haven't been in before. Every time they've ever asked about Giannis, they've gotten turned away and said, don't even think about it. Oh my gosh, this might be our only chance. How many picks do we have? Can we throw all of them in there? Do we have young players? What can we do? Can we make a 3-team trade? You start to go through all of those machinations. And when you do that, when you think maybe this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, then maybe logic gets thrown out the window. And that could be from the Bucks perspective, and that could be from other teams' perspectives. That's where I think it gets difficult, because I just don't, to me, there's not a logical reason that it has to happen now. Especially with an injury that's going to sideline Giannis.
You can shut him down for the season if you're the Bucks. And apparently you can just do that. I mean, Trae Young's not going to play for the Wizards, right? Yeah. And if you're this bad, this is now a recurring injury with Giannis. Like, you could easily justify shutting him down.
Yeah.
And the other teams that might want to trade for him would probably be okay with you shutting him down too. Like, they wouldn't think anything less of him, and they would know that he's healthy as well. So that's where I say, logically speaking, a trade should not occur before the trade deadline.
Well, you open it up to more bidders, but we're used to seeing stars be able to dictate where they go. And with Giannis, especially because that October 1st date where he can sign an extension, it's right there. This isn't something that the next team is going to have to wait on. is there a chance that we get a dark horse?
So let me stop you there.
There is a wrinkle to that, right?
Yeah. So you do need to be on a team for at least 6 months before you can sign a Supermax extension.
But they will know if he's going to sign before they make the trade.
Yes, I would think so.
Is there any chance we get a dark horse similar to like the Raptors with Kawhi back in the day, right? I mean, we'll try it and maybe we can sell him on the culture.
Well, I think one of the things you'd really be selling is, or at least you'd be selling to yourself. You'd be saying, all right, I could wait to the offseason. I might have the best package then. That's great. If you wait to the offseason, Giannis Antetokounmpo is not going to play in the playoffs. And that would be what you'd be thinking in your head, that even if I don't have full assurances that this guy wants to play for me, wants to extend, I'm going to get him for 2 playoff runs. And if there's one thing that you know about Giannis, it's that he's going to play incredibly hard and he's going to want to be on the floor. Like, I think anyone with eyes saw in the last game that he played with the Bucks this season, he should not have been playing after the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was obvious. He was not himself. He couldn't explode. He couldn't do the things they did. And he was out there because he was trying to drag his team to a win. That is the type of competitor that this guy is. So, yeah, if you're some team and you're not 100% sure, I don't think you have any concerns about, well, we're going to trade for him and then he's not going to play hard. Mm-hmm. That dude is going to play hard every single night for whatever team he's on, in whatever competition he's in. Like, it does not matter. He's going to play hard. And I think that's at least one thing where, Dave, you're asking about a dark horse. If you're a dark horse, you can feel comfortable. Yeah. You can think to yourselves like, okay, yeah, he might not be ecstatic to be here, but
you have 2 runs at it.
We're going to get 2 playoffs with him. He's going to compete. And if we win one during that time, who knows? Maybe he changes his mind and he does want to sign because you've been able to give him that second championship or that opportunity at a second championship. So, again, logic dictates that a trade should not occur before the trade deadline. But a dark horse would be an illogical candidate. The Bucks could maybe feel like they need to get this over with and they need to get out of this cycle, lose some games, get what they can get, and kind of go from there. But again, logic would dictate that that is not what should occur.
So the other aspect to waiting in the offseason is that some of these teams that are, quote unquote, turning their nose up at Giannis in Oklahoma City Thunder or Houston Rockets or San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, now you're talking desperation.
I'm just saying they might lose early in the playoffs, and that ends up changing the calculus for them in terms of their willingness to include young players and picks and whatnot. So the amount of teams that are offered, there's just more availability there.
I was going to say in this moment, I'm not going to say that there's not desperation, but there's like a lot of hope. There's a lot of belief. Like if you are a playoff team right now, you believe in your team because they got to this point.
Right.
Like the Toronto Raptors they are a good example, right? Like they have always been a team that's rumored for Giannis and all those things, but they're playing really great basketball. And who knows if they want to mess that up? Like they might not because they believe internally in their team and they'd rather take a chance with that. And then in the offseason, okay, this version of us didn't work. We didn't have enough. Yeah. Let's go make them.
So who are the teams now? Because that's what everybody wants to know. And I know you did an article on The Athletic. Everybody should go read it about potential trades that could go down. Obviously, Minnesota is a team that seems interested. Miami, Atlanta. What do you think who do you think has the best package for Giannis right now?
Oh, wow. So I think there's a lot of teams that aren't interested in doing it that would have great packages, right?
Like Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Oklahoma City, San Antonio. Right.
You know, last summer when we went through this for the 12th time and we're on the 13th time now. But when we went through it last summer, like Oklahoma City's there, the Spurs are there, the Rockets are there. I would be curious on the Rockets, like as far as like best packages, potentially likely. I know the Rockets are steadfast in that this is the team that we believe in and we're not going to make a big move. Yeah. I watched them struggle in the fourth quarter against Spurs last night.
Pretty consistently all year, by the way. Yeah. That seems to be an issue for them.
And The player in the NBA that scores the most fourth quarter points. Anybody know his name? Yeah, that's right. Giannis Antetokounmpo. And who's been one of the most efficient clutch scorers over the last 7 years? That's right. Giannis Antetokounmpo. So you kind of go through all of that and it's like, all right, the one I put together today was, Şengün, I think Dorian Finney-Smith, Reed Shepherd, and a first. Like that works from like a money perspective. Yeah. And you get to pair him with KD for the rest of KD's contract. And you don't have to give up a bunch of future picks. You're just giving up players. Maybe. I don't know. That's interesting. I think the Hawks, if they want it, have the best package, period. Yep. They, as our own Sam Amick reported today, they're not interested. They're trying to build something similar to the Oklahoma City Thunder, to the San Antonio Spurs. They don't want to fast track it. And I think if you look at their roster, it makes some sense, right? Mm-hmm. Like that is a very young roster. They have a lot of expiring contracts. It's clear that they're going to build something new coming here, and fast tracking it with Giannis maybe doesn't make a ton of sense. But yeah, if you put Jalen Johnson and a pick on the table, yeah, maybe that pick doesn't end up being the first pick, but then all of a sudden the Bucks have control of both sides of the pick swap and they just have 2 first-round picks. Yeah, I think the Bucks would love that. So I think they can do that. I know the Heat and Knicks are in this, and those are some of the most interested suitors, and those are the teams that people are keeping an eye on. And I took a quick gander over the comments of my story today, and it was like, people are like, why did we not see a Heat or a Knicks package? Like, why did you not do it? And truly, I tell you, I spent hours on each pick. Like, I'm trying to find a package where I can reroute some players to a third team so that I can then get first round picks from the Knicks or the Heat. And it is difficult. Like, I know, like, there's always ways to do things, and there's people in front offices that are a lot more creative than I am. I will never deny that. I'm sure you can find some way to reroute everything to make it work and get the Bucks some picks. But those two teams, I think it's really difficult. I thought the Wolves are an interesting team. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of really good players. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of depth. I think you could get to a spot where you trade some of those things out. The Portland Trailblazers were the team I included. I think Portland's a team that every team that wants Giannis is going to be looking to, because the Blazers have some of the Bucks picks in the future, which is an easy way to, like, if the Bucks can just extinguish some swaps and get their own picks back, that makes a rebuild a whole lot easier. Yeah. Like
a Drew Holiday reunion too, if possible, right?
Right. Like if you don't have picks for the next 5 years, it's hard to be a crummy team. Like if you're rebuilding and you're trying to help young players get better, it's hard to be bad in those moments because you just don't have your picks. And that's like the way that you have to work through it. The Warriors are a team obviously mentioned in the mix. Everyone will tell you they have all of their picks, and that is very exciting. And it is. But I think it's fair to say that a Giannis and Steph team, for as long as Steph plays, I think 3 years is fair, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. Modern medicine and the dedication of athletes, especially one that gets to play with Giannis Antetokounmpo, workload's going to be a little lighter. Maybe you can go a little bit longer. Those picks for the next 3 years aren't going to be any good. A pick swap with one of the best teams in the league does not help me because my pick is better. Like I don't need that pick swap. So that's not helpful to me. Their pick, not super helpful to me because they are just so much better. They're going to be a contending team. Those are going to be a lot of picks in the 20s. I don't know how attractive those picks actually are. And I understand it would be a lot of them. Like if I said, give us the next 7 years, swaps, picks, whole thing, let's do it. We want your draft for the next 7 years. It sounds very good. It sounds very good, but they're not your picks. And that team's probably going to be good. And if Giannis Antetokounmpo gets to San Francisco, I would guess they are going to be able to acquire other good players
Oh,
that
absolutely.
might want to play with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And Steph Curry.
Those picks are all going to be in the 20s. And that is what I would say is one of the holdups, where some of these teams don't have any picks. Mm-hmm. And then the one team that does have picks, I think everyone could imagine it being so good that those picks are not at all helpful to you. Like, wow, you have a pick in the 20 in the 20 range for the next 7 years. Awesome. It is helpful when you have no picks. I'm not trying to like totally disparage that idea, but like, you don't have your own picks and you just have these picks in the 20s. Mm-hmm. That's not going to help you rebuild trading the greatest player in franchise history. That's just not going to be a super compelling package. So, like I said, logic dictates. We shouldn't see something before the deadline, but you never know what can happen.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Eric, that even if he gets traded, we're going to be making fake Giannis trades every spring for another 7 years. So I can see it coming. Man. Guys, go and read Eric over at The Athletic. Let him know how you feel about his fake trades. Let us know here in the comments on YouTube how you feel about all of Eric's fake trades, especially if you don't like them. Let us know. For Eric, Nehm, and Es Baraheni, I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.